no.
It's the
Oh
end of an era.
no.
It's over. It's
Oh
done.
no. You think
I
Clay's
just
only
got
got
this. I had to throw it away.
That's vintage now. You think Clay's got more than 3 years in him?
Yeah.
So they get reunited and it feels so good. Don't lose hope in that. Like there's
Would you
always
say
hope that
there's
it comes.
two things that never leave you? A good woman and a jump shot.
Oh, but
Shooters age well.
do you think he's no? Here's the real thing. Figure out if he's going to sell his boat. If he doesn't sell his boat, there's hope. If he sells his boat, probably not coming home.
Yeah, it's true.
Down with the Mavs.
I know.
Down with the Mavs.
A lot to get into today, folks. Welcome to Big Ben and K Win on July 2nd, 2 days before the 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
Thank you for joining the show, spending time out of your day. We broadcast each and every week live on nofilter.net, Caffeine TV, YouTube. We also got you covered, audio podcast. Download, listen, and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about NBA free agent frenzy. We're going to talk about winners and losers. Klay Thompson, where do the Warriors go next? And more. I'm K-Win. He's Big Ben, and he is not the Warriors' marquee free agent signing this summer.
No, close. Close. I mean, what a splash they've made. The guy that barely played any games for the Sixers and averaged 10 points and shot 38% from the field.
I'm fired up. Winners and losers. Might as well start with the losers. The Warriors.
Yeah, see if this makes sense to you. I think there's so many parallels between them and the baseball Giants. The Giants won. They won 3 titles in 6 years.
Okay.
I believe that's correct. The Golden State Warriors won 4 in 7 or 8.
Let's call it 8.
8, but it's really tough to sustain. I mean, there's what, 30 teams in each league, maybe 32, close, somewhere in there, right? So the probability of you winning a championship is 4% if you're doing parity across the board. But for each of those organizations to win the titles they did, I think it's difficult to maintain. It's nearly impossible. The closest thing, you'd have to go back to the Celtics in the heydays, or the Lakers, or most recently the Patriots. But I think the idea that Bay Area fans get in their head is like, we can sustain this. Why can't we sustain it? Just throw money at it. And what we're seeing with the salary cap in the NBA now is just, it's tough. It's tough. And
never end well.
No.
Like, if you're winning titles when you're young and you're changing the game like Steph and Klay did, as you age, it's going to be different. Here's my struggle with it. Everyone talks about the core 4 in baseball. You got the Yankees. You got Mariano Rivera, Jeter, Posada, and Pettit. In basketball, the core 4 in my era, because I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, it's Iguodala, it's Klay, it's Steph, and Draymond. And if I get to only see 2 of them right off into the sunset and hover between 8 and 12 in the Western Conference every year, I want it to be the Splash Brothers. I want it to be Klay and Steph. And I think that last title maybe gave a false sense of hope of what was to come. Mistake number 1 was re-signing Draymond.
Mm-hmm.
Mistake number 2 was letting Klay go. Everyone says, oh, well, Klay didn't play well. After the All-Star break, he shot 40% from the field, 41% from 3. Coming back, he's healthy. Draymond, before he got renewed, punched a guy in the face, had a down year, and they gave him max money in extra years. They could have done the same thing for Klay. I think they saw the way that Draymond was headed. I mean, he's a defensive player getting older. His defensive skills are not improving. And I think they wanted to rip the Band-Aid off. And it's unfortunate that it had to end this way, because it shouldn't have ended this way.
Yeah, and it's all relative. I think you hit, like, to what you said around Bay Area fan. I'll just say it. Bay Area fans, once you hit a certain, let's call it peak tier, whatever you want to say in terms of how you're playing, Bay Area fans want you to sustain that and continue to move up into the right. And that's just not the case. As you get older, you digress. And Bay Area fans can't swallow that. They expect you to continue to come back because for more or less, Steph's been able to sustain a high level. Maybe he's fallen off in certain areas, but certainly with Draymond, that guy can't shoot. Like you said. And so they missed there, and you're right. I think that's a domino to fall where, all of a sudden the expectations of the team are far greater than the output to what you said. I mean, every team in the Bay Area looks at that roster and says, we should be a top 4 seed in the West. Now they've digressed. Well, every team in the West has more or less gotten better and up and to the right. So you have your organization digressing while other teams are progressing. And that formula just doesn't work.
Well, and the fans look at the players and say, "Oh, Klay turned down 2 years, 48 million, to go play for the Mavericks for 3 years and 50 million. So why didn't he stay?" He didn't stay for multiple reasons. There was a lot of disrespect going on in the organization, but the blame shouldn't be on Klay. The blame should be on the front office. Like, look at
Mm-hmm.
the young players. All the franchises that are able to rise and continue on, they develop, they draft a young core. The Warriors core, Wiseman, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Kaminga, Moody, like Nico Mannion, like they didn't develop and let Klay kind of ride off into the sunset as a shooter. They still
Mm-hmm.
needed him to be as dominant as he was when he was 26 and 27. And that just doesn't work. Like Steph
Yep.
is different, but Klay and Draymond are aging like they should be aging.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a coworker yesterday. He's like, "Listen, all these older players, the expectation is that they do maintain who they were. And for a guy like Klay, to what you just said, if you let him become Ray Allen, where he's
Yes.
a 3-point specialist and kind of has a role in the team, and the expectation is that he operates between the 3-point line, like he'll be an asset for you. But the expectation was greater than that. The
He had to
expectation
shoot
that
and create off the dribble. He had
ex-
to do stuff like Jaylen Brown did for Tatum or Tatum did for Jaylen Brown. He couldn't do it at this age.
So what do? You go to the Mavericks, where the expectation is that you're just the shooter, right? That's all that they were missing. If Clay's on the Celtics, that series probably goes to game 7, if not that they win it, right? And so Clay's going to a place where the expectations are he can operate as a specialist, a 3-point shooter, a guy that when he hit 13 threes in a game,
Yeah,
go back and look at those. He took 12 dribbles the entire game,
if that.
if
He's going
that.
to take 12 dribbles all of next year. He's just going to
Exactly.
with Luca,
Exactly. So if
Kyrie.
you're Clay, you're gonna go where they appreciate you, 1. 2, you're gonna be able to do what you want to do at this stage in your career. And 3, again, the Mavs are trending up. They got Luca, they got Kyrie, they got guys there. He's not even gonna have to dribble. You're right.
Winners and losers of the free agency, we're talking about the losers, the Warriors.
Yeah.
And Bay Area fans, like, let's just look at what Klay did. He saw the roster, he saw the talent, and said, I have a better chance to win in Dallas. Dallas's core, Dallas's big man, Dallas's has multiple superstars.
Exactly right. And this it and I think it's the appreciation factor, right? You're not going to ever appreciate me as much as you did when I was doing what in the heyday, right? Uh, if I go to Dallas, there's going to be these people that appreciate me for what I can do and what I do well, right? And the expectations of me are probably a little bit lower because I got 2 superstars in front of me too. I'm willing to be that third option, right? As long as we win, and it's probably going to prolong his career, to be honest. So I don't fault Clay for what he did
I
at
don't
all.
fault him for what he did. I salute him for what he did. You got to go somewhere you're wanted. And the Warriors, on the other hand, what did they come away with? They got nothing for Chris Paul. They
No.
got 2 second-round draft picks for Klay. They got some salary cap room, but they didn't do anything that they wanted to do. They kind of kicked Klay on the way out, right? All that Paul George talk. They didn't get Paul George. They didn't get Jimmy Butler. Now everyone says they're going to get Laurie Markkinen. Well, Danny Ainge is going to hold him hostage. Mikal Bridges just went for four first-round picks.
Yep.
The Warriors are going to have to give up an awful lot. And I'm saying without Laurie, with Laurie, the Warriors still sit 9 to 12 in the West. Memphis just got better because John's going to play all year. The Kings got better. New
Agreed.
Orleans got better.
And I think so. Hear me out on this as we transition away from the Golden State Warriors. I know how Bay Area fans like to talk about their teams for about incessantly over the course of. So I think what we're seeing is LeBron is in a similar situation. He opted out with this idea that I'm going to go attract free agents and then I'll take lesser money. And what we're seeing is guys like players don't want to come in to a space where there's already like LeBron is the Lakers, right? He calls the shots. And I wouldn't say Steph does the same for the Warriors. But again, the expectations of players on those teams based on the fan base and the franchise and the front offices running them, it's tough to get in there and really, I guess, be your own self, right? Like be who you want to be, operate how you want to operate. Because you're option one A, B, or C, right? And LeBron and Steph are option one A and one B, right?
But the problem is like, I think players look up and down the roster. Fans don't look up and down the roster.
No,
Besides AD and LeBron, you don't really have enough to be a top 5 seed in the West. Same with the Warriors. So people are making decisions to go elsewhere. Because look at the Mavericks. They have all the pieces together. Look at
mm-hmm.
OKC. Look at Minnesota. Look at Denver.
Exactly. They'd rather go play for a team, right? Again, it's all about you down and to the right. Both the Lakers and Warriors. Like it's going to be hard to redirect that up into the right because AD's getting older. He's injury prone. LeBron is getting older. Steph is as well. Like I want to go play for a team that's it's take the Thunder for example too.
Yeah.
Like I mean they're around. They're adding pieces, right? Do you want to sit around on the Lakers and Warriors and just see the front page of whatever paper that you're rubbish, right? Like you're not going to change the trajectory of that team. You can probably go change the trajectory of a few other teams in the West, right? And the Lakers and Warriors haven't even battled. They haven't even been, they've been on banana boats, come playoff time. So I'm with you.
Lakers, another loser this free agency.
Yep.
LeBron talked about he would be willing to take a pay cut if they found another superstar, marquee player. Well, we're in day 2 of free agency. They lost on Paul George. They didn't get James Harden. They didn't get DeJounte Murray in a trade. Will they get Trae Young or Zach LaVine? I don't know. They didn't get Tobias Harris. They didn't get Valanciunas. LeBron isn't taking that pay cut. And LeBron's new nickname should be Steven Spielberg because this is a screenplay. He got his coach with JJ Redick. He got his son, Bronny, and he's not taking a pay cut. He's about to get $50 billion over the next 3 years as he rides off into the sunset.
And the thing is, if you're LeBron, you don't want the next 2 to 3 years to blot out everything you did previously, right? Like the stuff you did for the city of Cleveland, your time with Miami. Like people tend to forget those based on what you do in the latter space of your career. What's that?
Recency bias.
Yes, exactly. Recency bias. So what are you looking at? Like, do you look at his full career? Well, if your full career, like if I look at his full career, maybe I realize what he did previously but if I look at the latter stages of his career, this is becoming, LeBron's trying to take control of everything around him and it hasn't been successful, right? So is that the narrative around his entire career? Maybe, because it is the recency bias. Like you said, God, the guy's making so much money and the output's pretty good. But again, no one wants to play with you. It's similar when you show up at the rec and you look around and you see a guy taking every shot. Do you want to go play on his team? No. You want to go play on another team where you're going to get some shots up, a team that's going to pass the ball, a team that's going to win.
You were alluding to it. Like the whole culture of the team is LeBron James.
Exactly.
The happiness in the locker room is LeBron James.
Yep.
The offense is LeBron James. And if you're a 2A, a 2B, or 1B, I don't know if you want to come into it because it's so dominant.
Right.
They're talking about DeMar DeRozan. Well, he's not going to be a good fit in the Lakers because they need a shooter. They need someone who's off the ball. So I don't know what they do from here. I don't know what the Warriors do from here. But do you want to transition to the winners? And my winner, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Thank you. Yes.
traded for Alex Caruso, signed Isaiah Joe, signed Harkinson. I mean, these are great pieces. What they were missing last year was rebounding and toughness. Not to say that Chet doesn't have it, but they needed more when Chet was out of the game, or they needed to flip their lineups and go big because they only went small. Now they can go big or they can go small. And think about these guards defending. They got Case and Wallace. They've got Dort. They've got Caruso on another team's perimeter players. And then they got Harkinson. It's something different that they didn't have. They used to just play 5 out. Now they can play pick and roll.
Yes, exactly right.
I love what OKC did.
Yeah, from a defensive perspective, like I agree with you, Caruso and Hartenstein. Like those are guys that know their role and they're going to play their role well, right? They're pieces. They realize they're pieces in the puzzle. They're not going to try to put shots up that they're not within the offense. And Chet, let's be honest, Chet he's a rim protector, but
he's not a bruiser. Harkinson.
Exactly. I want Hartenstein setting screens all night long for SGA. Like that formula works. Pick and pops. And getting rid of Giddey,
Giddey's good, but
Giddey is good.
You're an offense where Shea has the ball and Jalen Williams have the ball. He's not an off the ball scorer. In Chicago, he's going to shine. He's going to flourish because he's going to get the ball.
Exactly. So it's trading. You're trading nearly the same player, but they do different things, right? And I think the Thunder and Presti. I wouldn't. Are they a title team? I don't know, but they look more like a title team, like the Celtics, who just won the title, right? Correct. Defense, toughness, protect the rim. Like, I'm encouraged by what the Thunder did.
They're saying Caruso is like the Iguodala pickup for the Warriors.
There you go.
As the Warriors had the three, they had Draymond, Klay, and Steph. They brought in Iguodala, who was a Swiss Army knife, and Caruso's a Swiss Army knife with Shea, Chet, and Jalen. I like what OKC's doing. Are they going to win a title? I don't know. But are they in a better position after this summer? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. Can we talk about the Clippers real quick?
Yeah.
So here, the salary cap has become, obviously there's restrictions to what you can do within the salary cap and the vein of the salary cap, right? But we're seeing, going back to Klay, money isn't everything for these players anymore. Yeah. Like the salary cap is so egregious and high. I mean, I'll give you some relative sense. NHL free agency is going on at this moment as well. These NHL players are signing for 6 years for $6 million.
Wow.
And these are like centers, right? These are serviceable players that play on lines and so forth. But these guys are getting so much money. And for a guy like PG, yeah, you're going to go out and get your money while you can. And that's why I went to the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers have good pieces now, three good pieces. Maxi's emerging, and you got Embiid and then, of course, PG. But what Ballmer's sting is right now is he can't just buy the team, right? He is one of the owners that has the deepest. Excuse me, what's that?
He's got limitations.
Yeah, he's got, and so then it's on your front office to put together a team. And so a team like the Clippers and Ballmer and an owner that can just reach out, no longer can he do that. And so what I think we're seeing is, you got Harden coming back, you got Westbrook coming back.
They might trade Westbrook. That's the rumor that he opted in his contract. They're going to trade him to Denver.
So what do you do then? Rebuild going into a new stadium? Do you want Harden to be the face of your franchise? And Kawhi, I guess?
Terrence Mann, and who knows if Kawhi's going to play.
I think the Clippers, to let PG go, is telling about that franchise.
Yeah. They wouldn't give him a fourth year, and they wouldn't give him a no-trade clause. They want him to take a hometown discount at the expense of going into this year with Terrence Mann, an aging James Harden, and a load management player who may or may not be there for much of the season.
LA fans, much like your hat, and that's not Anaheim, but I bet they wish there was an Anaheim basketball team because both the Lakers and Clips are probably going to be down this upcoming season. And so it's, again, the money that's out there for these guys. And then also, I think what we're seeing is if you have a good front office and GM like Sam Presti and Brad Stevens, Those guys went out in free agency. If you got a guy, a single player maybe operating your front office, like in LeBron, you're going to lose out.
Yeah. Speaking of the Celtics of Brad Stevens, they extended Derek White. They extended Tatum. He's now the most expensive or greatest contract in all of the NBA. But here's the scary part. Their starters are under contract until the 25-26 season. So we're talking about spacing, shooting, people defending multiple positions. The Celtics aren't going away anytime soon. And if we look at the Celtics and what they did, we look at the Mavericks and how close they were, and now we look at the Lakers and the Warriors and how far away they are from the summit, and it's discouraging.
The what I'm going to enjoy because it's going to bring back the Knicks.
Yeah, Nova Knicks. They got
No, Nova Knicks, Nova Knicks. The Knicks got better,
the Knicks got
and and we didn't believe how good Jalen Brunson was.
no
But now, if you get a healthy, now I'm going to forget his name, the lefty, Randall.
Julius
If you get a healthy Julius Randle, who was an MVP, or excuse me, an All Star, I think 2 years ago, and then pair them with the toughness, they're going back to old school. Like I think everyone sees what the Celtics were, and that was tough, right? We can't get by with pick pop all that stuff. Like so,
And
it's
they
gonna
got OG and they
yeah.
got Bridges. So think about that. OG could guard Jalen Brown, Mikal Bridges on Tatum, Randall on Horford. Like they're getting closer to the Celtics. I love the Celtics. I love what the Sixers did. And I love what the Knicks did.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is like the front offices in the East are looking at like we got to figure out how to stop the Celtics, and then if we stop the Celtics, we'll stop everyone else too,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
blueprint.
really the game plan because the Celtics, to exactly what you just said, it's going to be the same core, the same people for the next 2 seasons. So if we're going to get past them, we have to build to beat them.
And Jalen
And
Brown, I think, is 28 and Tatum's 27. They're not
yeah,
going away anytime soon.
so these two teams in the East, and I think the other teams in the East see this, right? They're like, if we don't have the pieces, like that's going to be tough to beat. We don't see the Celtics regressing, right? So even names like Jimmy Butler, like, do we want to re-sign him in Miami or do we want to rebuild? Like the East is going to be the Knicks, the Celtics, the Sixers, and I
Indy.
can't, maybe Indy. I don't know, but I can't name a team past that that's going to sniff, a 1, 2, or 3 seed.
Orlando Magic. Got your boy Bonchero.
He,
Rainy Big, stand up. Or is he O'Day?
he is. He was O'Day, so yeah, maybe right. But I think you look at the East and those 3 teams,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a battle. And it's same with the West, right? But you have a little more expansive. You probably got 6 teams that could see the top 3 in the West. A few more
Denver
people.
got worse too. They let KCP go. 2 years ago was Bruce Brown. Your boy Christian Braun's going to go in the starting lineup, but they're going to miss
I
that
like Christian
point
Braun.
shooting. Denver, a big miss. Like everyone talks about maximizing Steph's prime, you got to maximize the Joker's prime.
Yeah,
They need to get more pieces for him.
they got to get more depth.
Yeah,
Like they gotta find a Joker light, like someone that is seriously like they need to find a big where because that offense operates well when Joker's in. When he's not in, it's stagnant. So you need to find a guy, a big that can kind of do the same thing. Now the tough part is there's no one else like Joker.
so
There's no one even close. So the expectations of that second unit or the team when Joker's not out there, because Jamal Murray can do what Jamal Murray does, but like what Aaron Gordon's done, the reason he's flourished is because Joker is there.
Joker makes everyone better.
Exactly.
I mean, KCP wasn't doing this when he was in Washington. He wasn't.
No, exactly.
Coming out of
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
He's
And
coming off of prime Joker, where he shot the ball well, played great defense, and he used that to get a 3-year deal.
now you hope that Banchero is Joker ish,
Yeah,
ish, maybe. We'll see a lot more chips or who we have left out there. DeMar DeRozan, Zach Levine, maybe.
he might get traded. You've got Gary Trent Jr. It's coming down to pretty. That's what I mean. The Warriors. I
It's
don't know if they do.
bleak.
The other rumors are is Laurie Markkinen from the Jazz. You could trade for him. You could potentially trade for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
At some point in time, you're going to have to shift from trying to sign these players to trading for these players to starting the season knowing you have no chance.
Yeah.
And that Warriors are very close to that.
And does Lauri Markkanen really give you that chance if you're Warriors? No. Come on. Let's be honest. He's a nice player, but he's not. He's
He
not
gives
the
you the
guy.
opportunity to be in the playoffs and not in the play-in game.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, you're right. Now you're the guy left. Everyone's been taken on the dance floor, and you're looking around. Hoping someone comes out of the bathroom. That's really the case here.
I
Um,
blame Mike Dunleavy. He tried to ruin the Warriors as a player, and now he's ruining the Warriors as a GM.
I think the writing was on the wall. Like, I think
That's
there's
why Bob Myers left, right? He
exactly.
will be the one making the tough decisions on these players that he loved and helped win championships with.
Shout out to Bob Myers. He was great during the NBA playoffs, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if they're trying to ruin. I just don't think like sometimes the cards you've been dealt, like it's tough to play that hand. And I don't think Dunleavy got dealt a hand he can really win with, to be honest. He's just trying to get by.
I
But I
agree.
don't know where you go if you're the
I'm
Warriors
an
fans.
Warriors fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, take the temperature of the Warriors fan right now. They're livid, absolutely livid.
But you
What do
know
you do?
what? We got our Niners.
And we're on the football season. We
Yeah.
mailed it in. All right, you want to get out of here?
Let's get out of here at Big Ben Kwin _ at Big Ben Kwin _ everywhere you get your social media, TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram. I may have missed a few, but it's at Big Ben Kwin _ download, listen, subscribe, and 5 stars anywhere you get your podcasts. If you like looking at our ugly faces live, you can catch us live each week